Steve, thanks for joining us. A defeat at home to Bracknell tonight. Before the game, did you think it was a bit of a free hit? Despite the defeat, were you kind of more concerned in the manner of it? Did you think it was a 4-0 game?
I could stand there and say it wasn't a 4-0 game. It was. They won 4-0. We knew it'd be a tough one. I don't like the phrase free hit, but everyone outside of the change room would have said free hit tonight. So I get that. It's a game on paper that we would have been expected to get a lot against one of the best sides in the league. Make no mistake about it. They are where they are for a reason. They're a really, really good side. They're well managed. They're well drilled, and they're very, very powerful going forward. We knew what they would be about, but knowing what the team's about and dealing with it, two different things. I thought we played really well first half. Didn't think there was anything in the game. I'll get onto the goal in a minute. And then second half had changed of Saturday a little bit. The second goal, you can just see then it sucks the confidence out of the boys because we're not on a great run. All right, we picked a few draws up lately and had a nice win in the cup last week, but we've had two tough back-to-back ones now, and we look a little bit fragile going forward. A couple of half opportunities and made poor decisions first half when we got into good areas. But yeah, even at 1-0 at half time, I thought we was well in the game. I didn't think there was a great deal in it. And when the second goal comes in, I think it knocked the stuffing out of us. And then we've had to, again, as we seem to do every single game, we've had to make changes for injuries, which is certainly not helping us. And yeah, tough one to take in the end because it just looks like on paper you've been smashed 4-0, which ultimately you have been. But maybe not a reflection of the overall performance, but I think in the end I was more worried that we might concede a few more, almost being down to 10 men in the last 10 minutes as well. And you've got one or two playing out position and one or two blowing a little bit, and but they're relentless. That's what they do. They're very good at it. If we could have stayed in the game for a little bit longer, and I wouldn't say one or two decisions could have gone our way. Maybe 24, 25. One would have been nice. It may have changed the game a little bit. But look, there's no complaints with the opposition. They're a top side, and they are where they are for a reason.
As you say, not much in it for most of the first half, and then jumping ahead to the goal, obviously the timing of it, added time, right on heart, you think getting at 0-0, that old cliche, added time, 1 minute added on, and then kind of a combination of decisions, errors, whatever you want to call it, where was it a corner in the first place, once the corner has come in, what happened then, how did it end up going in the back of the net, and obviously how long it got added on. What's your thoughts on, combination of things?
Well, it's almost pick how many things a referee got wrong with his linesman, and not just on that goal, there's plenty more. For me, it's not a corner. Armitt's flipped it and it's hit the bloke on the shoulder. He's given corner. Now, bearing in mind, nearly 2 minutes before he said there was a minute to go. They take the corner, it's headed back, every single player claimed it went out of play.
At the back post, It's curled, so obviously you'll see it on the highlights, it's kind of
I don't know
curled across the back post.
I don't know if it did, but I think sometimes you go on players' reactions, and for that many people to react like that, I'd probably go with that. And then I asked the referee a question at half time about the added time, and his answer was just, I've never heard anything like it. His explanation was, it went for a corner, so I stopped my watch to allow them to take the corner, which they've scored from. He said, but time was up. Well, why'd you give the corner then? Why didn't you blow up? He said, well, that's what we do. I said, did you stop your watch on any of the other corners? He said, no, just the last one to allow them to take it.
And it's not completely unusual, completely out of the question before. I've seen it happen before where added time's up, teams are waiting to take a corner, and the black, no time for it.
If time's up, time's up. Not you're going to stop it and let them have a corner, which they're particularly good at, and then they score, we kick off, he blows up. I'd have put my mortgage on it that he was going to do that. And that probably summed up the performance of the officials, which I'm sure we'll get onto in a minute. That was the beginning of an appalling night, if I'm being honest.
Given obviously what happened, what we've just discussed, obviously the goal has gone in seconds before half time. What was the impact, at half time? Was it, how was the players' reaction? Obviously, shouldn't have been given. Ball possibly went out. What was said and the attitude and reaction like in the dressing room at half time?
Yeah, to be honest, it didn't change the team talk because I was pleased with how they played. There was a couple of little things that we needed to do better. Their movement up front was good. There was times I think we needed to communicate a little bit better, passing people over. But we looked all right. Not that I wasn't worried because they're a good side, but I felt comfortable, and anything I said was no different. The goal was, you just explained, if 3 things like that happen, you can hardly go in the change room and start digging people out for it. With every goal, you can probably look back at the video and you might see maybe we could have done something better. I don't know. To be fair, Adam Richards has done great to edit back from where he did anyway. But if he's edited back and he's gone out of play, I don't know how you're supposed to defend that. So no, we just went in. We tried to keep them positive because confidence is a big thing when you are where we are. And we know that. So you kept it upbeat and told them to keep going but try and stay in the game. And it's hard to stay in the game when you're chasing the game and you're losing. And you're struggling a little bit with your confidence, and a little bit like Saturday, second goal goes in and we just didn't really recover after that. And,
as you said, obviously, again, bit of another cliche, killer second goal. And then after that, obviously, you can you called them clinical earlier, and obviously that, 2 became 3 and 4, and obviously they were clinical and showed their class the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, as I said at the start of it, listen, I'll sit here and moan about the officials and I'll carry on doing that in a minute. But as I said, they're a really good side, but in front of the goal, 3 of them finishes, 2 keepers probably don't stop. And they were clinical, and that was probably a big difference between the 2 sides as well. When they got to that final third, they didn't hang about and they scored 3 from their point of view, 3 really good goals. From our point of view, defending could have been better, probably a little bit naive. But again, maybe 1 or 2 playing slightly out of position that maybe wouldn't have got done. If Hamilton's still on the pitch, I don't think they probably scored a second goal, but I could stand here and say that all day long.
So apart from, obviously, we've touched upon the first goal and what were combination of things there, what else stood out in the second half in terms of decisions, or blatant things that you thought went against us?
Well, I don't know how long you've got. I thought the officials from start to finish were absolutely appalling, and I'll be the first to say if I think they've been good. I very rarely would come. I'm not saying we've lost the game tonight because of the officials. I'm not going to disrespect Bracknell in that way, because that wasn't why we lost 4-0. But for me, I think the referees have a duty of care to get certain things right. And when I look at decision after decision tonight, I'm telling you now, if that had been the other way round, or we'd been playing a bigger club with a big crowd, we'd have finished with 9 players tonight. And I'll give you some examples of that.
Yeah, you said duty of care there, such as, for example.
Well, first half, their forward has whacked our centre half in the face off the ball. The linesman's flagged, he books him. Now, it's sort of a red card or it's nothing. So what have you booked him for? Never got an answer for that. Their number 8 the first half does a great foul, our winger's breaking, he pulls his shirt, pulls him back, doesn't give a yellow card. Second half,
for the general reaction, sorry to interrupt, was, that was, as again, hopefully you'll see on the highlights, Johnny Alotti was kind of counter-attack.
John's breaking through, he's fouled him, which I was...
Cynical, you see it all the time, cynical pullback, and,
I wish I had some players.
And one for the team type yellow, but as you said...
It's a good foul that I try and encourage my lot to do, but struggle to take that on board because they're too nice. He's done exactly what I'd want my midfielder to do. He breaks up play, out at any yellow card, I don't know. Second half, he absolutely levered Samuel.
And got a first yellow.
So he gets his first yellow.
Yeah.
So he should be sent off. Their second goal, Hamilton gets smashed in the face, elbow. He's got a massive lump in his head, going off to hospital shortly to get himself checked out. He has to come off. And there was various things through the night. It kicked off in the middle of the park. The 2 of them are...
That was following the tackle.
Following the tackle. So I'll right back and their winger have got hold of each other, doing whatever they're doing, handbags fight. He books our bloke, doesn't book their bloke. And then the worst one for me is right at the end of the game, Sean Preddy, it's a bad tackle. The bloke's gone right through the back of him when he's cleared the ball, doesn't even speak to him. And then to make it worse,
linesman right there looking at it.
Linesman's a yard away, did nothing. They give a free kick, and they leave Sean lying on the floor for about a minute on his own. No care or attention to the player. They've got duty of care to do that. Every time they went down, he stopped us on a counter-attack 3 times to bring it back. Which, if that's the rule, that's fine. Got no problem with that. They've left him lying in the corner, done absolutely nothing. He's now completely done his knee, and I'll be surprised if Sean plays again this season. He's on his way to hospital now. Which, well, that's about par for the course for us at the minute. That tends to happen every week. But having spoke to the referee and listened to Cutterly apologise for that, well, I don't want an apology. Deal with it properly. They've got a Premiership referee in there who I think there was mentoring them tonight. He'd be in there all night. because I thought they're and this, as again, I'm not taking any away from Bracknell. I'm not saying we're in the position we are because of referees, but that tonight was nowhere near good enough. But they'll be all right. They got, as I was going in at the moment, I was getting paid their expenses. Shouldn't have got a penny after that. When it all kicks off from the pitch, one of their coaches run halfway across the pitch.
Yeah.
I've got no problem with that. That happens. Linesmen don't do a thing. I'm stressed out. I've leant over and had a suck and a vape. He's calling the referee over to get me booked. Do me a favour. Worry about the things that matter. Get your decisions right. Absolutely useless, the three of them tonight.
Away from tonight, how do you, again, a bit of a cliche question, but away from tonight, massive game at the weekend, Gosport, obviously, that is the definition, I think, of a 6-pointer down the bottom. Yeah. So away from tonight, how do you get tonight out of the players' system? Forget it, move on. We've got to get something on Saturday. We need a win on Saturday. How do you go about that? How easy would it be?
What you say and what happens from it, I think, are two different things. We kept it pretty upbeat in the changing room. Just said to them, listen, get your heads up. You give me everything you got tonight. Yeah, it was a little bit weak in certain areas, but we have been for most of the season because of the injuries and unavailability we have every single week. And obviously we lost George on Saturday. George could be out for the season now. Preds, that looks like him done for the season. The two boys from Wimbledon we got on loan. One's out for the season, did his hamstring last week. Quain was called back last night by Wimbledon, so he's gone back for the season. So I sound like a stuck record. And but what can you do? I think the only things you can. It's easy for me to say it because I'll go home and be stressed about it and I won't sleep. But you can only try and manage the things that you can manage. The other things that you can't manage, I have to sort of let them go to a certain extent. But if we can channel that first maybe 60-65 minutes performance into Saturday, we give ourselves a good chance. But they've got to be brave. They've got to stick their chest out. They've got to get their heads up. I know they're all sort of old-fashioned cliches, but if you go into Saturday with any doubt or lack of confidence, then you're going to struggle. But we said to them last week, we've got 9 games to play. I think we probably need to win at least 4 to have a chance of staying up. I've always known from the start of the season how difficult this year was going to be. It's been the hardest year since I've been here, and it's got harder and harder and harder. It's tough, but if you give up, then there's only one answer to that. So it's the same for me. You've got to keep going. Same with the staff, same with the players. I'm hoping to get 2 or 3 bodies in before deadline on Thursday. We're certainly going to need that anyway, and they've got to turn up ready to go Saturday. Stop feeling sorry for yourselves. Get over it. If you made a mistake tonight, it is what it is. We might have to look at a couple of personnel changes maybe for Saturday, because I think we've got 1 or 2 that have looked like they've blown up a little bit lately. Maybe just played too many games and maybe a little bit of lack of confidence. So maybe a couple of fresh faces coming in Saturday might give us a lift we need. But it is what it is. As I said there, it's been almost impossible all season. But we've got to now try and actually do the impossible, and it's not impossible, I say that, but we need to win some games, and we've targeted 3 games in particular. I think we have to win, possibly 4, and then the others we need to try and pick something up. We don't know how it will end up. Obviously, there's a couple I think we can catch, but we have to win them games, and it starts Saturday. Saturday's no good getting a point.
And speaking of Saturday, obviously we spoke about 6-point against Gosport. It's also non-league day on Saturday, so just to make people aware, we've got plenty of offers, hopefully, to get some extra people through the door. It is free for NHS and emergency services. It's half price for anyone going to the England-Ukraine game on Sunday. As usual, obviously there's no Premier League or Championship games this weekend, so it's half price for season ticket holders. And we've also got hopefully some schools coming down as well, so hopefully a few extra faces, he said, that will get us 3 points.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
In a 6-pointer.
Well, the NHS and the paramedics couldn't pick a better club to come and watch it at the minute. We'd probably get the job while they're down here. Might as well set up before the game. Yeah, listen.
They might be on duty. Yeah.
If we can get a few more through the gate and a few more behind the boys, at the minute you take every positive that you can get, and if that's a few more people shouting from the side and getting behind the team, and we get a few more through the gate that we wouldn't normally, because we wouldn't expect Gosport to bring too many, to be fair to where we are. You take everything you can at this stage, and if it means, like I say, we've got more people getting behind the ball, because regardless of where we are, the boys are putting in everything they can every week. Yes, it ain't perfect. Yes, we're not scoring goals at the minute. Yes, we're struggling with confidence and all the things that happen to all teams when you're on a bad run and when you're down there. But I've still yet to walk away from a game and say, no, they didn't bother today, or they didn't put the effort in. Probably second half at Northley was the only time this year I thought wasn't good enough, but I think that was probably a mixture of 9 or 10 being crap on the day and nothing else apart from that. But they keep going every week, but we just need a little bit more than that at the minute. And but that's my job to do that, and we'll get them in Thursday. We'll train, maybe have a bite to eat together afterwards, and try and get them ready to go. And as you say, if we can get a few more here Saturday, we need everyone we can, and including people. In fact, supporters were good tonight. I didn't hear anyone getting on anyone's case. It was the same on Saturday. And listen, they've not had a great deal to cheer about this year. I know we had a nice run in the trophy and we've had a few good performances in the league, but they've stuck with the boys all year. I've not heard anyone slagging anyone off or knocking anyone. I don't read the forums, so I might be getting a bit of stick on there, but it is what it is. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. But I can't do any more than I'm doing. I've never worked any harder since I've been here, and I'll carry on doing that as hard as I can, and the players will keep doing that. And you hope at some point, not only does something turn for you, you get a little bit of luck. You might get a decision that might go your way, and but it's down to us to do that. So we've got to start on Saturday.
Steve, thanks for your time. Good luck on Saturday.
No
See you
problem.
Saturday. Cheers.
Cheers, gents. Thank you.